Hey everybody, it's Greg Majewski with another exciting episode of Room for Seconds. Today I am going down a different alley. This is an incredible vendor of mine that I've been a partner with now for over a year. He is CEO and president of Rewards Network, and I am thrilled to be having on the show Steve Fusco. Steve, thank you.
Hey, great to be here, Greg. Thanks for taking the time.
So obviously your background, and I've gotten to read a little bit about your bio, but I want to jump right in. You're an ex-Marine, you're now in outside of it. What did that experience sort of lead you to, and what did it install in you? Because I'm always amazed. My brother-in-law was it, and
Yeah.
he's so disciplined and stuff like that. So what did they install in you that has allowed you to be successful outside of the military?
Yeah, it's a great question. And first of all, you always say former Marine. You never say ex-Marine. It's once a Marine, always a Marine. Look, they didn't install anything in me. The Marine Corps and the military in general it's populated by millions of Americans over many generations who love their country and believe in freedom I will tell you that for me, at least, it was the greatest experience of my life. The people who make the decision to raise their hand and serve in the military, they do that. Obviously, all volunteer force. They do that willingly, making a choice to be a part of something that's bigger than they are. I will tell you, in terms of what I carried forward from that experience. In the military, there's a strong focus on integrity and doing things the right way, believing in the importance of the team around you and the people that you serve, just a sense of accountability that carries through into everything that you do every single day. You know, I got young kids, and it's my hope that they choose the path into the military as well, and that's going to be entirely up to them. But I believe that those who do will find that it is truly, an extraordinary experience, and it's an opportunity for growth as you're working to make the world a better place.
Very, very cool. And I know you're also, I believe, involved with a charity that you're very proud of.
Yeah,
Let's plug it in at the beginning. So, because no one listens to the end of the show, let's get it
yeah.
all in the good stuff at the beginning.
Well, first of all, I really appreciate you mentioning that. I didn't know you were gonna bring that up. I'm on I partner with the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation, which is the oldest veteran charity in the country, and they have a beautiful mission to honor Marines by educating their children. And one of the interesting things about the military and the veteran community is, these are folks who a lot of times they have earnings and income that puts them outside of what like a Pell Grant or certain other scholarship opportunities make available to them. But educating their kids is tough. It's education costs have become really really challenging for a lot of Americans. And the greatest honor we can bestow upon those folks who serve their country and put their lives at risk is to help them educate their children. And so it's an amazing charity. It's been around since the 1960s, and every single applicant, the children of Marines, who is eligible, and there's a set of eligibility criteria, gets a scholarship, and that makes it unique. It's 100% scholarship. So yeah, it's something that I'm very proud of, and I think they're doing a lot of really great work.
So, everyone who applies gets a scholarship.
Yeah,
Did I
as you
hear
can
that right?
imagine, there's a limitation. It affects the size of the
Right.
scholarships, but when you go through the eligibility criteria and people enroll, or apply, they get a scholarship. Every single person. And what's really interesting, and I have to believe this is a product of being the children of Marines. The graduation rates for the scholarship recipients in this program greatly exceed the graduation rates for the average college student. Over 90% of the students who participate in the scholarship activity provided by Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation end up graduating, which is just a wonderful thing to see.
That is, I did not know that. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and make a donation to the charity.
Oh, you're the man, Greg.
So afterwards, if you can just send an email, I'll go ahead and take care of that. But we'll make a donation of $2,500 in your name.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. Thank you for doing that, Greg.
So now on to the good stuff. Besides, that was awesome. And,
Yeah.
thank you for all you do and, the service and everything else that you did for us. And I think at times military, especially right now, is getting a bad rap in the press. And we're not what we should be without you all. And we all owe every one of you a debt. Uh,
I'll tell
because
you what, Greg, it was a long time ago. And the crazy thing is, I had to cut my hair back then and now it won't grow. So and I'm a heck of a lot softer than I was back in those days, but I appreciate the kind words.
so you're now at Rewards Network. Why don't you give everybody just a little bit about what it is, and then we can,
Sure.
take it from there.
Yeah, Rewards Network is really an amazing company. It is the leading demand generation and marketing platform for restaurants in the United States, specifically focusing on local independent restaurants. And we work with over 20,000 restaurants in every major market in the U.S. And we've been serving those local operators for over 40 years. So this is not a business that just started. It's been in the community for over 40 years. And frankly, a lot of the technology that people encounter today with offer programs came from Rewards Network. And the promise, sort of the customer promise that we have is we're going to send full price paying customers into restaurants. And that's been something Rewards Network has done for a very long time, but it's become even more relevant recently. And obviously, you're a very experienced operator yourself. You've probably seen over the last couple decades a lot of these discount programs that pop up where people get coupons or what have you, and they look for reasons to spend less when they go into a restaurant. And that might be good for the customer, and it might be good in terms of generating demand, but what it does is it corrodes the restaurant's ability to maintain pricing power. Because implicitly, what you're saying is the thing that I'm selling isn't worth what I'm selling it for. And so I'm discounting. So we never operate with discounts. We only operate with rewards. And we do that by partnering with the most powerful loyalty brands in the world. So every major airline, United Airlines, American Airlines, Delta Airlines, Southwest, all the major hotel chains, Marriott, Hilton, etc. And then as customer tastes and preferences have migrated over the decades, we've started to incorporate some of those more modern loyalty programs. Things like you may have seen the Fetch Rewards commercial on during the Super Bowl, right? Fantastic rewards experience. Built rewards. So anywhere where you have large populations of consumers who are actively engaged in rewards programs, loyalty programs, and are seeking rewards, we partner with those companies to provide them dining experiences, dining rewards, specifically for those local independent restaurants. And on top of that, we have, as you know, a financing product as well. We provide working capital, cash advances to customers, but we do that in a way that is very unique in the industry because we'll provide a cash advance to a restaurant, and I know you know this product very well, Greg. We only get our money back if we send customers into the restaurant. If we send diners in who spend money. And so
Hmm.
the goal is to send full price paying diners into the restaurant who are going to spend more and are going to come back more often. And then we provide those restaurant owners with comprehensive enterprise level analytics so they can really understand who their customers are, what they're doing, and why they're dining at that restaurant.
I'm Greg Majewski, and I've been a multi-unit operator for 26 years. I know how great it feels owning the right franchise brand, but choosing the right franchisor feels even better. At Craveworthy Brands, our hospitality-driven culture sets us apart because we're invested in your success at every single stage of your journey. We're operators alongside you, paving the way forward to give you a head start on greatness. Start your franchise journey at craveworthybrands.com. So with all the data that you get, and
Yeah,
obviously you've been in there, you get to monitor a lot of restaurants. What are the challenges that you're seeing in the industry today, especially on customer acquisition, which is harder than ever? Um, but what are you seeing as the driving forces? Which restaurants are doing well? Which restaurants aren't? And not names, because I know you can't give that, but
sure.
segments and stuff like that that you're seeing growth in today.
Yeah, it's a great question, and there's a lot of different ways that I could answer it. No, but I want to start with this. If you spend time in any ecosystem that involves small business owners, and just very quickly on my background before coming to Rewards Network, I was at PayPal for a number of years, which obviously works with a huge population of small business e-commerce merchants. But when you spend time with small business owners, you realize just how incredible they are. These are people who have enormous passion for their businesses. They don't have the capital or financial resources of large enterprises, but they have so much passion for building their own brands, building their businesses, and they have to do just about everything. They're the marketers, they're the finance people, they're the CEO, they're the head of talent and people. They're building the product end to end. Nobody does more than a small business owner, but it's getting harder to be a small business owner. And there's no place that it is harder to be a small business owner than in the restaurant space. And the reason for that is this is what I like to think of as a expiring inventory business. And what I mean by that is if you go into a restaurant and there's an empty table from 4 o'clock to 5 o'clock, there is nothing that you can do from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock to replace the revenue that you lost in that hour. You're not selling a pair of jeans so you can sell two pairs of jeans in the next hour to replace the one you didn't sell in the previous hour. It's gone. But during that hour, you were still paying for the lights. You're still paying for the water. You're still paying for the staff. You're still paying for the lease. And so you're carrying all this fixed cost. And when someone sits down and dines, really the only variable cost is the food cost. And so what that means ultimately is that the most expensive thing in a restaurant, hands down, is an empty table. And so to get right back to the question you asked, what is it that's making it difficult? What's changing is that the tools that small business owners have to fill that empty table are becoming less effective. And they're becoming less effective because, I'm just going to guess you have a smartphone with you on your person right now, and we're not talking. You're probably checking something, probably flipping through. There you go, right? You've probably
Always.
gotten 15 texts while we're sitting here,
And
right?
about 35 emails. So yes.
35 emails, alerts, ESPN's telling you the Chicago Bears just did this or that. You're getting constant noise from your devices all day long. There are the average consumer, the average American gets thousands of messages every single day through every different medium. They're confronted with it all day long. And so to pierce through that noise, you either have to be a large global brand with the presence and channel access and the ability to invest in impressions, or you have to find a way to access a population through other means. We are that means. And so, when you get back to the data, what we're able to do is we're able to provide an enterprise level set of capabilities to a local merchant, local restaurant owner that they can't get anywhere else. And we can show them, this is how your marketing looks. This is what your customers look like. This is the average that they're spending. This is when they last dined. Here's how their repeat visits look like, how it looks relative members versus non-members. We can show you party size. We can show you geographies that they came from. And that is a set of information that informs the way you do business in a way that you simply wouldn't be able to leverage should you not have access. And the reason we're able to do it is because we're giving you, the small business owner, exposure at a scale and depth and presence that allows you to pierce through all that noise because we're working with these large global loyalty brands. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, because it's hard to, you get an access to a much larger customer base because of the network that you guys provide, which
That's right.
hopefully drives traffic to your restaurant if you're in the right area. Now, how hard is it for a single store to see the benefit of that compared to a group that has 10 or 20 or 30 or 40? Where's the sort of best component? Obviously, I would assume fine dining has bigger rewards than QSR when you're one store, but not sure.
Well, I don't think the number of stores or even the cuisine type is as much of a factor as the type of loyalty that you're providing. And here's what I mean by that. If you flip over from the restaurant over to the consumer side, people dine every day, right? They you might travel, guys like you and me probably travel a couple times a week. The average American, right? The average American travels once or twice a quarter. You might stay at a hotel a couple nights a quarter, but you dine every day, and that dining experience, whether you're talking to the highest executive at the biggest company, to the millennial, or the person who's maybe a college student, it there's an enormous diversity and variation to the type of dining experiences that they seek out. And so from a loyalty platform perspective, you want to be present, available, and relevant from the first cup of coffee that person has in the morning all the way through to the fine dessert that they have at the end of the night. You're gonna want to go stop at the coffee shop. You're gonna want to grab a sandwich for lunch. You're gonna want to take your business partners out for dinner. And so all of those different experiences are relevant if they're presented to the customer in the right way. Now, the challenge is if you're an individual restaurant, you have to hope that you're creating that relevance with exactly the right customer at exactly the right time in exactly the right way when they happen to be close enough to you or to the channel that you have available to you to make a difference. And there's a lot of have tos in that sentence. It's frankly virtually impossible to do. That's why just about every restaurant has their own loyalty program, whether it's a punch card or something else. But the loyalty programs that make sense from a dining perspective always end up being the ones that are deployed by very large brands. That you think about the brands you see commercials for when you're watching a football game. So the benefit that we bring is we aggregate that data and that information and frankly those experiences to create local content loyalty at scale for the consumer. And so whether you're that individual restaurant or you're that amazing crave-worthy family of brands, you're a part of a population or inventory of content that very large customer audience is seeking out and looking for across all the different dining experiences that they're participating in. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. So basically, no matter what size, you drive customers to their
I mean,
restaurants.
unless you're talking about something that has 5,000 locations, right? Where the brand itself is big enough, relevant enough, visible enough that they have their own customer audience to market to, and they can market to them in a way that's distinct from all the other brands that are present in that same set of channels. But
Yeah,
if you're
but
go ahead.
but even there, you need to drive new traffic, and not everybody goes anywhere or forgets. So if there's an extra reward for people to go into, maybe not a Taco Bell because their check's not big enough, or because they don't need anything. Um, but no matter what, you need to drive new customers,
Right.
and people come and visit it. They know they can get yours plus the other loyalty reward from those businesses. Why not dine at those places?
Right. Well,
So
just quickly on that point, I think what's important there is, and look, I've made this mistake myself in other businesses that I've been a part of. Sometimes you want a customer to want something because it benefits you, as opposed to really understanding what that customer needs and what will guide their behavior because of what they actually desire. And that's the difference between something like an American Advantage mile or a United Mileage Plus mile or a Marriott Bonvoy point and some sort of localized rewards program that a restaurant might deliver.
Hmm.
It's not to say that that restaurant isn't a great restaurant or that the customer experience that they've put together isn't an amazing customer experience. But the practical reality is there is a real intrinsic value to these globally recognizable rewards programs. Marriott Bonvoy has 200 million members, and there's a reason for that, right? It's because, especially as travel costs have increased, the relevance and importance of those rewards has increased. And so what we're able to do is take these very powerful, let's call them secondary currencies, and put them into the hands of a local operator so that they can use them to create customer connections with an audience that is seeking them out and will guide their spending to accumulate
That's interesting when you think about it, because I mean, you do, and I'm loyal to very few loyalty programs, except my airlines and my hotel.
them.
You know, even Jimmy John's and all that. I have one restaurant app on my phone that I actually use. I don't use my apps because I'm not going to go and earn loyalty on my restaurants, but I have Starbucks. That's the
Right.
only one that I have on my phone besides
The
my
best app in the
brands.
industry, Starbucks.
Um, well, yeah, because they hold your money and, they're a bank. One day I want to get into that business where I can have people preload and just use their funds forever. It's brilliant, but that's a different subject
Yeah.
matter. So, what challenges are you seeing in just the loyalty? So, you guys build your loyalty, obviously, with the big boys of the industry.
Right.
What can restaurants and operators learn to sort of drive their loyalty program? What incentives? Is it dollars? Is it cash? What resonates with the consumer today?
Well, I think that I'm going to answer this question a little bit different way, if that's okay, which is
Of
that,
course.
if you think about your own life, what people are looking for is simplicity, right? I think that from the advent of the smartphone and just the way that we consume technology, people have become accustomed to beauty and simplicity, and that's true on the consumer level, and it's true on the merchant or business level. And so, if you answer the question first about consumers, you just said yourself a few minutes ago, I only have one restaurant app on my phone. If your expectation is that a consumer is going to add one more thing, one more thing, one more thing to, if you pick up anybody's average phone, you start flipping through the number of apps, they already have 100 apps on their phone. Adding complexity to their daily life because of their presumed connection to a brand, even if it's the best coffee shop in the world, it's hard to expect that that's going to happen. That makes it difficult. It makes it difficult for a local operator because you want to be able to connect to your customers. And on the merchant side, that simplicity point is equally as important. Having another program that you have to build, as you have to think about earning and redemption, or you're going to use gift cards, or you're going to use some kind of point structure that you develop yourself, or you're going to have a loyalty punch card program, and then having somebody manage it, having somebody maintain detailed records of it, make sure that your staff is trained. All of that adds complexity to your operation, which is not what a local business owner needs. And so the challenge, which was your question, is that it takes you away as a business owner from doing the things that you know that you're great at and the things that you're thinking about all day long. And I'm not speaking about Craveworthy because I know you're an operator. You think a lot in terms of efficiency and technology, and that's sort of the hallmark of how you operate. But the average business owner who maybe doesn't have that experience or the level of sophistication in how they approach things, what they really want to focus on is creating an amazing experience for diner, terrific menu, great staff presence, being able to shake people's hand, look them in the eyes, and build those human connections. And so anything that adds complexity to your business takes you away from doing that, which is the core purpose, for your business in the first place. And that's frankly why we exist, because we abstract all that complexity, we take it away, and we just make it super simple. There's no training of the staff. There's no buttons you have to push. There's no complex integration that you have to do. It's all ready to go from day one, and you are immediately plugged into the most powerful loyalty programs in the world.
All right, I'm going to ask you five rapid questions to sort of
All
wrap
right.
this up. And they're never the same. Some are, some aren't. Favorite restaurant?
Well, my favorite restaurant is a place right around the corner from me in Walnut Creek called Montecatini. I was born in upstate New York, and I live in California. And so if I can get dynamite veal parm, I'm telling you right now, I'm
It's hard to
100%
find.
hard to find. And this place, if you're ever in, I live in a place called Danville. If you're ever in the East Bay and you want a veal parm that can stand up to anything in New York, and I know that's a big statement, you got to
That
go to
is a big
Montecatini.
statement.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite type of pasta noodle?
Well, as an Italian, Greg, I'm surprised you called it a noodle. But
Well, if I
yeah,
don't, but
we grew up in a rigatoni household, not the mezza, the full size, big old rigatonis. I like dry pasta better than the fresh pasta. And whenever I make Sunday sauce, I do it with rigatonis.
and Sunday sauce.
Yeah. Not gravy, right? Gravy's a New Jersey thing.
Yes. So my family is split. I have people that call it gravy, and I have people that call it Sunday sauce, and it's drives me nuts. And just to torment my kids, I call it both all the time, just to make them mad.
I bet you make a
Um,
hell of a sauce, though, Greg.
so it is pretty damn good. All right, book you're reading today.
So the book I'm reading today, believe it or not, I'm almost embarrassed to admit it, is Machiavelli's The Prince, which I picked up actually about a week ago. It's a little dry, a little tough to get to because it was written so long ago, but it's one of those books that I think everybody should read.
Okay. Mickey or Bugs Bunny?
I got to go with Mickey. I love Disney World. I love everything Disney, and I have some great memories as a kid going to Disney World. And I have three kids myself. And when you take your kids to Disney World the first time, and they look up at you with that big old smile on their
It's
face,
amazing.
it's like, hey, take my money.
Uh-huh. All right. Who is your hero and why?
It's tough for me to answer that question without giving the obvious answer, uh, which is I have two heroes, and they're my mom and my dad. I love them both dearly. They're good people, good small town folks that raised a family in upstate New York, both part of big ethnic families. I've got two brothers. We all love each other, and we care about each other. And I aspire to achieve something close to what my parents did for us to create a warm, loving environment at home for my family.
Very, very cool. Where can everybody find you or get more information about Rewards Network?
Well, if we have a website, just go to rewardsnetwork.com. You can see information about us there, and we have big presence on LinkedIn. Hopefully, we're going to post this, and we'll link to it so we can anybody who's connected us will see this great conversation. But I'll tell you, you can find us if you're a consumer at any one of 20,000 restaurants all over the country. You won't see the name Rewards Network. Rewards Network is the restaurant-facing brand. And that's important. Just to say to anybody who's listening to this, we don't we don't think of ourselves as the brand for the consumer, because what we want to do is we want to take every ounce of energy and power from those incredible brands we work with and put that in front of the customer. So your diners that are coming in and seeking those rewards, they have no idea who Rewards Network is, because they're coming in there for Marriott or American or United or Delta or Fetch or Built or any one of those great brands. So
Very, very, very cool. Steve, thank you for joining. Everybody, that was another episode of Room for Seconds. You know where to follow us and subscribe. Hit the button down below. And again, Steve, thank you for everything you've done in your past life and what you're doing now at Rewards Network. It's truly amazing. Thank you, everybody.
hey, Greg, really appreciated the conversation. Thank you so much.
Hey viewers, thanks again for supporting Room for Seconds. If you found this episode inspiring, interesting, or any bit informative, please hit that little subscribe button down at the bottom so you never miss an episode. In my 26 years in this amazing industry, I've been blessed with incredible mentorship. This show is my way of giving back. Follow me on LinkedIn, search Greg Majewski, on Twitter, @Greg_Majewski. If you still have room for more, visit our website at media.craveworthybrands.com. You'll find more videos, shows, notes, blogs, resources, and an easy way to get in touch with the Craveworthy Brands team. I'm your host, Greg Majewski. Thanks again for tuning in to Room for Seconds.